gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be alright. Good morning, and welcome to News and Politics Today with Renee and Calvin Borston Hill. We're here doing our political insight show, and we're here at Awesome Radio, 106.9 FM WBIS. And to get it out the way, I'm just going to give you the call in number 252 756 2008. And just want to let you know that we are also available to be viewed on our local TV channel 23, and then also on YouTube through Awesome Radio. So good morning, Calvin. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Renee. It's been a great morning so far. Got a little chill in the air, but other than that, we are doing fantastic.
Okay, so we will be having a call in today. There's an urgency for the need for blood. So, in a few minutes, the Red Cross will be calling. And if you have questions for them, they can be reached, or you can listen in and call in at, again, 252-756-2008. And again, we always like to talk about the virus. And we do know that people are saying that they're not wearing masks, and they decided state by state to give up the mask. But one of the things, Calvin, I wanted to say is that the virus will be done when it says so, not when people say so. So just because a person, and they're not from the science network, if you, as maybe a governor, who has a background maybe in finance, decides now that you can take off your mask, well, it doesn't mean that is so. From the president of the United States, he feels that it's too soon to take off the mask.
Well, Renee, I have to agree with you on all of that, but I just want to bring one other thing up. This virus, is very adaptable. It can change and mutate. Unlike the human race, we don't mutate. That's why this virus is going to be around for a while, because it can mutate, and it changes because it sees the necessity to survive and live. Just like any organism, it wants to live. Well, what happened is it's going to change. It mutates and change. Unlike the human body, we can't mutate and we don't change.
Okay, so again, we're just saying you can use your own judgment. Okay, we have a call coming in already. Good morning. News and Politics Today with Renee and Calvin Borston Hill.
Good morning.
My ask who's calling? Okay, I guess that call dropped. Okay, so again, as we were saying, here in North Carolina, unfortunately, the school board again has decided that when the children go back to school tomorrow, because they're closed today, that it will be optional for children to wear masks, Calvin. And my thing is, as a parent, a grandparent, I would like to make that decision and not to put that into the hands of the children.
Well, it's so important that we look at that, because children are going to, if you ask a child 13 years old, 12 years old, do they want to wear a mask? Of course, they're going to say no, they don't want to wear a mask. And, if you look at them a lot right now, they wear it below the nose, and adults wear it below the nose. The thing, Renee, is that, we say you want to protect your family, well, how can you protect your family if you're not going to wear this mask properly? No sense in even having it around your neck or on your mouth if you're breathing through your nose. And that's what I always say. Every Monday, you need to wear the mask properly. And the right way and the proper way to wear the mask is to cover your nose, because this is where you do your inhaling and exhaling. Most people, 99.9% of everyone, breathe through the nose. Inhale through the nose. So what we want to do is we want to just stress the fact that we want our children, especially the ones that's at school age, to be able to wear that mask. They're wearing it now and they're learning. So why not continue wearing it and continue to learn while they're in school to protect the families that they come home to? Because when they don't wear that mask, I give you the prime example. We have a granddaughter that's in not elementary, middle school, and she says, "Tell us that you know children are every week go out because they have the COVID-19. Well, now and they're wearing the mask now. So what's going to happen when they stop wearing the mask? Well, more children are going to end up with this COVID-19 and bringing it home to their parents or grandparents, and that's where the problem lies because usually grandparents, most of them, I would say 89%, take some type of medication, whether it's for high blood or whether they've had a serious chronic disease other than high blood, diabetic, or heart disease, So now they bring that home, immune system, a deficit. So if they bring that home, what's going to happen? Now the grandparents or the parents are going to get deathly sick. And we've lost almost over 900,000 people we've lost. And that, Renee, involves families. They brought death, this COVID-19 brought death to these families. And now these families have to do without.
Well, the other thing is that people who were getting the virus before the vaccine was even available, they're speaking now on long-term COVID, so that they already know that, and we know somebody who has now a young person, like in their 30s, they now have forever heart disease, and eventually one valve went down completely in his heart, and he's feeling the effects of it. So maybe you're a person with long-term COVID. Is there a word that you have for the people out here in our community? 252-756-2008. Give us a call and let us know how COVID has impacted your family and maybe even your life.
Well, it has affected our family because we know people that have had this COVID, and not only have had the COVID, but we've had a good friend, that passed away because of it. And I always say that this COVID is like a thief. It comes in your house and it want to take away, the health from you. By taking your health, your immune system now becomes weaker, and this virus will take you out. You know, it's better, in my opinion, to take the vaccine than end up going in the hospital. At least if you take the vaccine and you get a breakthrough, it's not as bad as if you didn't get the vaccine. And I'm telling everyone, if you love someone, protect them. Protect them by getting this vaccine. Get all three, get the booster, get everything that you can. And if you can get a fourth one, get that, because we want you to be protected.
And we want you to be around so you can continue to listen to News and Politics Today with Renee and Calvin Boston Hill. And then also, again, just inform yourself. Don't get miseducated. Don't listen to the negative impact about the vaccine. We know that the vaccine works, and we're going to stand by it. And we're going to stand by what the president says, that it's too soon to leave and to stop wearing masks. And I'm, again, so disappointed at the public school or the Board of Education. Again, there are people who are running for reelection. Let's take a look at their report card and see where their children are being educated. Okay, so Calvin, that was it. I don't know. We were going to do a little brief on Black history. You
Yes.
think we have time for? You have
Yeah.
1 minute.
Well, I think we have a little time for it. Let me just
1 minute. Mhm.
1 minute.
Yes.
Okay. So let me just get it, and I will, because I had it, and then I can't say I lost it, but it disappeared. So I have it right now. And now this is something that we do, this Black History, but we're going to start doing this Black History every Monday, not just in February, because it's so important. And this morning we're going to talk about, they used to call her Aunt Lucy Nichols. That was her name, Lucy Nichols. And she was born into slavery in Tennessee. But during the Civil War, she managed to escape and found her way to the 23rd Indiana Infantry Regiment, which was encamped nearby. We have a call coming in. I'm going to hold off on this here until after.
Good morning, News and Politics Today with Renee and Calvin Borston Hill here at Awesome Radio. May I ask who's calling, please?
Good morning. This is Miltia Grady Wheatley, the Executive Director with the Red Cross.
Okay, and we already announced to our listening audience that we would be getting a call from you. And Calvin, just up my headset. Okay, thank you. And we want you to just and I do have a couple of questions. But what is it that you would like to let our listening audience know from the American Red Cross?
Well, first of all, good morning, and thank you to you and Calvin for allowing me the opportunity to speak to your audience. Right now, we wanted to let you guys know that the American Red Cross is facing a national blood crisis, and it is the worst shortage in over a decade. So what we are asking everyone in the community, if you would please reach out to redcrossblood.org or give us a call at 1-800-RED-CROSS so that you can look at the local events in your area where you may be able to give blood, which is in great need.
Okay, so do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions? Because I've never donated blood, and
Okay.
and I am a diabetic, and so my question is, can diabetics donate blood?
So what we do is when you call in, we will do like a brief health history to ask certain questions to make sure that you are qualified, that there may be no underlying health issues that could cause you harm. And once you complete the health history, you could move forward depending on your answers with donating blood.
Okay, and so I get the pass, and I can come in to donate blood. Um, do you do any screening of my blood before you take it?
No, ma'am, we do not do any screening prior to, but we do have a panel set up after we collect the blood to make sure that everything is okay. And once we've collected the blood, it goes through its proper process and channels to ensure that once it's given to the hospitals and people that need it, that everything is okay.
All righty, and then so my next question is, if I don't know my blood type, um, is that information available after I donate blood?
I am so glad that you asked that question. You do not have to know your blood type to donate. We are always in search of all different blood type donors. O donors are the most in need because they're universal donors, but you do not have to know your blood type in order to donate.
Well, could you give me my blood type if I didn't know it after I donate?
Yes, ma'am. Afterwards, you will receive some follow-up with a card, and on the card, it will give you different information, which would include your blood type.
Okay, excellent. And just a couple more questions. How, if I'm in
Sure.
there and I'm donating blood, how long is the process? So suppose I wanted to come during my lunch. Would I be able to accomplish that during a lunch period if I had an appointment?
Sure. So if you have an appointment, it can take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. The first part is, like I mentioned to you earlier, is completing your health history. And that information you could actually do ahead of time online, and that will take some of the time off of it. Truthfully, you giving the blood is anywhere from 7 to 8 minutes. The process itself is not that long. And after we collect your blood, what we like to do is give you a moment to sit back in a lounge area, grab a quick snack, just so we can make sure that everything is okay after your donation. So as long as you have an appointment and you have a great lunch period where you're able to do that, there shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Well, we this is an urban radio station where a lot of our listeners are Black, Hispanic, Native American, and I wanted to stress the need about sickle cell patients. Why is it important that Black people they start to come out and donate? Could you speak on that at all?
I could speak on that, and I am so glad that you brought that up. One of the things about getting minority donors, especially black donors, is that sickle cell patients need the blood types that are closer to what they are. We can use the blood that we do have, but once we have something that's closer to a match, then it's less, more of a chance that the person gets what they need immediately, if that makes sense. Um, prior to the pandemic, we had a percentage of like 2.5% of Black donors coming out, and during the pandemic, it's dropped to 1.5. But I'm happy to say that we are increasing those numbers. So I would like to put out a personal call to all Black, Hispanics, and other minorities to please come out and give blood. Our communities are the ones that, when we're most in need, we need to be able to take care of each other as well as our other community members. But it is an important call for the Red Cross to ensure that we are collecting blood from minorities.
Okay, excellent. And the last question I have is that I'm not sure, I'm not clear on the blood and plasma, because there's a lot of plasma places popping up, and people are on long lines to give plasma. Um, what does getting plasma have to do with blood? I know it comes out of blood, but is that question clear?
Yes, ma'am. That question is very clear. And what I am trying to make sure is that I give you the most appropriate answer right now so that everyone understands what we're talking about. So we do our blood donations, and the plasma, we use that is collected on, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Miss Renee. I was looking at something, and if you don't mind, I'll come back to that question. But someone with diabetes, to be very specific to what you asked me, you can give blood as long as you are approved from your doctor to be able to donate.
Oh, okay.
Oh, very
All right,
good.
very good. Because
Yes,
I mean,
and it's funny because I'm sorry,
No.
because we know that our population of people, that's usually an issue with us, one of our biggest health issues. So you are able to donate.
all right, very good. Okay. And then just wanted that clarity because that was going to be my last question between the
Yes, ma'am.
plasma and the blood. What do you do with the plasma, or what does plasma go to a hospital? I'm just can plasma be turned into good blood?
So you know what? I'm gonna tell you that I am actually new to this entire process. I am the new executive director here in the Northeastern chapter, so I don't want to give you any wrong information. But
Okay.
to my understanding, the plasma itself is used for pharmaceutical uses. Plasma donor centers that are typically, they're used for pharmaceuticals, not for hospital uses.
Okay. All righty. Very
Yes,
good. Do you have
ma'am.
any questions?
Yeah, hi, Matilda. This is Calvin. My question is there an age limit on donating blood?
There is not an age limit. I'm glad that you asked that. If we have someone under the age of 18, what we do is ask that they have parental consent. We actually have had donors in this facility here in Greenville off of Red Banks Road that have come in with their parents. So there is not an age limit.
Excellent. Now, could you give us a phone number that they can call and an address if they wanted to go by and donate blood?
Yes. So what I would recommend, because we are still in the midst of our pandemic, is that I strongly encourage your listeners to go to redcrossblood.org or to call 1-800-RED-CROSS to schedule an appointment, because we are ensuring the safety of the donors that come in as well as our staff. Once upon a time, we would just have, you could have people that would show up, but we want to make sure that everyone is safe during the pandemic. And we want to let you know that we appreciate the time that you're taking out of your day. So in order to maximize the number of people that we can get in, we ask people to schedule appointments. And we have donor drives throughout the city. So you don't necessarily have to come to Red Banks Road. There could be an event going on somewhere closer in your community.
Okay. So
what about masks? Are masks required to participate if you go in there?
Yes, sir. Masks are required throughout our Red Cross buildings.
okay. So any more information that you would feel the listening audience should want to hear?
Well, first of all, again, I want to say thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak with you. I was a little bit nervous, but you guys have been awesome. I really appreciate that. And I would, and I also, in honor of Black History Month, if you don't mind, I would like to share and give your listeners something to go and look up, which is Dr. Charles Drew. He was the first Black medical director of the American Red Cross Blood Services. And a little bit of history for you is he was the pioneer in developing the modern techniques of blood collection and plasma processing. So we have Dr. Drew to thank for the way that we have the ability to collect and store and give blood.
Excellent, excellent. So we want to thank you so much for calling in. Um, we can't say that if things don't really pick up and you want to give us a call or make arrangements to come on again, we can
Mhm.
definitely. And just want to let you know that this interview or this conversation that we've been able to have with you and the American Red Cross, you can view this or listen to it on from Facebook, GPAC, Roku, YouTube. There's many ways that you can take advantage and use this information to circulate through our community. And just
I
know,
really appreciate that.
also that we're all over the country. We have a lot of listeners from the Virgin Islands, from New York, different all the states, even Africa listens to our show. So that this is an opportunity for us to get that word out, even in other states.
I really appreciate that. And I just want to say to all of your listeners, not just locally, that 1-800 Red Cross number is throughout the nation. So I implore you to please take the time to give them a call or visit us on redcrossblood.org. It is really critical. And right now, we really do need blood from our minority populations. The American Red Cross has a huge initiative working towards sickle cell. That's one of our really big pushes, and we're very passionate about that. And I would love to see our community step up and step out, as we say. Again, thank you. My name is Miltia Grady Wheatley, the new executive director here with the Northeastern chapter. And Calvin and Renee, hopefully we'll be able to partner again, and maybe I can get you guys to do a blood drive for me so I can see some of those fabulous listeners that you have.
Okay.
Well, excellent. What we can do is get together on that and set it up.
Oh, I would love that. I would totally appreciate that.
Okay. All right, then. So you have a great day. And again, thank you so much for calling and giving us all this valuable information.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful day. And,
Okay.
and happy Valentine's Day.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
And,
Same
and
to you.
same to you. Happy Valentine's Day. Okay.
All right.
All right. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
And we want to wish all our awesome radio listeners a happy Valentine's Day. I sent my wife this morning a Valentine message, but I don't think she got it, but it was early this morning and she was probably still sleeping, but it's okay because I wished her a happy Valentine's Day anyway, in person, which is good,
And that big piece of jewelry that you're going to give me later, where is that at?
Well, it's still in the store. It's still in the store. We're gonna look at that and see if you really want that piece of jewelry. You made a comment. I heard you tell somebody you didn't want any more jewelry. So I listen.
Okay, good. Okay, I don't need any more. I'm jewelry out. So so Calvin, before the again, want to thank American Red Cross for calling in. I hope that the information that was given, again, you can go to redcross.org if you want to find out in your location where you can donate blood, or you can call 1-800 Red Cross to get, again, additional information. So we believe that in our community, if there's an urgency and if there's a need, and since we have a voice, we definitely want to get that information out. Well, before the call, Calvin, you were speaking about a Black history, and that's another good thing. Charles Drew, I'm going to definitely read up on him because I want to know how he was able to invent or discover how to get blood.
Well, I'm going to make a comment on that right quick. Even though he did all that to help the human race, a lot of people don't realize that he ended up dying in a car accident. and he didn't die in the accident, but he had a car accident, and he was not allowed to be serviced in a white hospital. That's another part. But now back to Black History, Renee. I'm going to be telling our awesome radio listeners about someone. Usually people always want to talk about Martin Luther King, somebody that everybody know, and then quote them. Well, what we're doing here, we usually pull up stuff that people really don't know about. Maybe there's a few, but most people don't know about. And right now, I'm going to continue, Renee, because I'm going to be talking about. They call her Aunt Lucy, but her name was Lucy Nichols, and she was born into slavery in Tennessee. But during the Civil War, she managed to escape and found her way to the 23rd Indiana Infantry Regiment. Excuse me, which was in camp nearby. She stayed with the regiment and worked as a nurse throughout the war. After the war, she moved north with the regiment and settled in Indiana, where she found work with some of the veterans of the 23rd. You know, she applied for, this is so important, this part right here, because she applied for a pension after Congress passed the Army Nursing Pension Act of 1892, which allows Civil War nurses to draw pensions for their services. The war denied her. 55 surviving veterans of the 23rd petitioned Congress for the pension that felt she had rightfully earned, and it was granted. That is so important because you see, sometimes when we do something on our own, well, we don't necessarily get it. But if you got people backing you, that's what happened. And then, she was granted this pension that she deserved. So again, we were talking about, they call her Aunt Lucy, but her name was Lucy Nichols. And this goes all the way back to the Civil War, Renee.
Okay, and that's our moment for this show for Black History. And every week we're going to be giving some information. One of the things that we here at Awesome Radio, we believe in educating and in giving information. We're not relying on the old history books to give us and to teach us. We're taking on that responsibility because as sensitive as things get in terms of our history, we know that we lost and we didn't get so much information. And now is our time because Black history happens to be a conversation that is going on TV. We have people that have twisted the narrative of Black history, saying that they don't want their children to learn it. But and they're using this word critical race theory, which is not what they've now changed, what the whole purpose and the meaning of critical race theory, the 1619 project. So we're saying to you parents and just people in general, even if you don't have children, you as a person can pick up a book. Calvin, there's a couple of books that you're reading. What are they?
Well, you're right. I'm so surprised at one of the books that I'm reading because one of the books that I'm reading is wow, I can't even think.
Miseducation.
It's about miseducation. Dick Gregory is one of the books that I'm reading, and he talks about facts. He bring up the facts that he was right there during Martin Luther King time. He marched with them. He donated money with them. He got other individual high celebrities to donate, and march. And he was right along there with them, And O'Reilly, that's another book that I'm reading. I would never thought in my life that I would be reading a book that O'Reilly have written.
Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly have written. But that book is so interesting, and it's nothing like I would have thought, Renee, because it's about the Civil War and slavery and how people helped and didn't help. And I'm gonna bring those books in and start reading our some
excerpts
from it.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's very good. This is News and Politics Today with Renee and Calvin Boston Hill. We are here at Awesome Radio 106.9 FM WBISLP. Again, you can view us on our GPAC local TV channel. We're on Roku. We are on YouTube. There are so many ways through Awesome Radio that you can get to and share this information, particularly that important information that came from the American Red Cross. They are in need of blood, and we're hoping, and I'm going to ask my doctor if I'm eligible. I do keep my blood sugar in very good top notch way so that maybe I can give blood.
And you have some great numbers. So I have to put that out there. You have great numbers. People don't realize.
Please don't say what
I'm
they
not going
are.
to say your numbers, but people don't realize that when you're a diabetic, you have certain numbers that you look at every day, and you are having great numbers to the point where you know. If I was a doctor, I would say, well, you're pre-diabetic, not a diabetic anymore. But then that's another story. I'm not a doctor. I'm not, so I just have to go along with the process.
Thank you. So, all righty. So now, one of the things is so much going on in the news today. We have yesterday it was the Super Bowl, so I was kind of quiet about the team I was going to root for. But I did go root for the LA, and I'm glad they won because it was a very good game. Some of the people really liked the show, the halftime show. It was okay. I think maybe I'm a little outdated.
Well, well, it's not even being outdated. It's just that some of the show and the individuals, those entertainers were great. But I have to bring up one specific individual, and that was Eminem. Eminem, for a lot of you that don't know, he's a Caucasian artist
Rapper.
and rapper. He's very good at what he do. But what he did at this event yesterday is that he kneeled and he put that knee down in support of Kaepernick, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm saying. He supported him, and none of the
Other entertainers.
did it, or any of the athletes that was on the field. We don't, but yet the NFL said that if they've done it, there would have been no repercussion. But we don't know that. You can say anything after the fact, but he did it. Eminem did it, and I feel proud of him.
All righty. The other thing that was going on is the Olympics. They're over in China, and we know that there's a lot of people that, of course, a lot of people who are in the Olympics participating. And there are Americans, and we are Americans that are winning gold medal, silver medal, bronze medals. And we just want to say that we're very proud of all the athletes who are over there and showing America well.
Well, I have to bring up one lady, and I call her a lady, Miss Jackson. She won the speed skating event, and she won gold. But the thing about that, Renee, is that this is the first time in 28 years that the United States have won a medal in speed skating. And it was the first time in history that a black woman, a black female won. So we congratulate Miss Jackson.
Okay. And then what else is going on is this Ukraine. We're not going to delve too much into that because I don't know what's going on, but Russia is looking to invade Ukraine, and we don't know when it's going to happen. No one can really predict. We'll know it's happening when it happens, and we know that there are people, allies, who are supporting the independence of Ukraine from Russia. And if they do invade, we're not sure what that is going to look like. So, all across the country, I am praying for our soldiers. I'm praying for, is it NATO?
NATO.
Yeah, I'm praying for NATO, and that no blood is shed, and that we do know that there's a lot at stake. We have the natural gas lines. We have a lot of stuff. We have oil, and we know here at home we are suffering. Not suffering. We're suffering with this inflation. Every time we go to fill up our cars, we see that the prices have gone up again. Every time we go to the store, this weekend I wanted to make a dip. Last
One of
night
my favorite dips.
I make a good clam dip, and one of the ingredients was cream cheese. And we went to just about every store here in Greenville, and there was no cream cheese on the shelves. As a matter of fact, some of the stores, I mean, you see people, supplies is coming into the stores. And this was the first time for something that I really want that I could not find in the store. So I just said, okay, well, I'm done. I'm not making any dip tonight.
Well, see, the other thing too, Renee, it's not funny, but there's a little thing like chicken wings. It is so hard to find chicken wings these days. And now you can find a chicken thighs, you can find the legs, you can find the whole chicken, but just chicken wings itself, they are so hard to find.
And we used to buy them by, like, I guess, a 10-pound bag, a big bag. And it was, at one point it was $18. Then it went up to $22 when the store could get them in. And now when I went to the store, I saw that it was 30 something dollars for a bag of chicken wings, so where those chicken wings stay.
They stay right in the store.
I'm now getting selective as to what I need, how I want it, and how bad do I want it? Am I willing to pay the price? And there's going to come a time maybe that I could want something and I can't afford it. And that's kind of scary.
Well, that is kind of scary because, when you go in the store, you expect to spend a certain amount of money for something. And like seafood, that's another one. Seafood have gone crazy with prices. When I say crazy, I mean like crab legs, for instance. They're like 59, 70 something dollars a pound. That's outrageous.
Yes, and it's going, of course, not only for seafood but also meats. If you want a steak, the prices that they're asking you, and how small and thin they're preparing the package, so that they say, okay, you can have it, but you're not going to get a big.
You're not going to get right.
You're not going to get. Our number here is 252-756-2008. Has there been an impact, or have you felt the inflation that they're talking about across this country? Or perhaps, again, we talked about long-term COVID. Maybe you're suffering from that, and is a word that you can give to someone to protect themselves and to go get the vaccine if they haven't, to save themselves from having long-term COVID or even dying from this disease.
Well, this disease is still around. And not only is it still around, but, we always tell everyone, protect yourself. That's the main thing that we do right here. Protect yourself. But to change the topic a little bit, Renee, let's talk about, elections. And because that's going to be coming up pretty soon. They're going to, individuals that want to run for an election, the filing date is February 24th to March the 4th. Am I correct in that?
You're correct, but that's for North Carolina, because down in Texas, they already started early voting. Early voting. They're doing early voting. They're getting ready to have, I guess, a primary. So it depends on your state, but definitely something that you can do. And what we have to do is we have to make sure that we have not been taken off the voting roster. They are purging the list. They are doing everything to suppress the vote. And again, we cannot, and we are not sleeping on our elected officials, because even though the John Lewis and the HR 1 did not pass, it doesn't mean that it can't be reintroduced, maybe in another form. But it's important that we get voting rights passed through the federal government. The other thing, Calvin, that I just want to mention, of course, you didn't bring my computer here.
No, I didn't bring your computer.
Okay, I have to blame it on you.
Okay, you can do that.
But anyway.
You're right. I have to start looking to make sure that it's where it's supposed to be on Monday morning.
Okay, but the other part of it is I always give, we're not sleeping again on the insurrection, the the committee, the January 6th committee, they have uncovered a tremendous amount of information. I think Giuliani is supposed to show up today. If he shows up or shows out, if he does take the fifth, we'll, I guess, we'll pay attention to the news. However, again, elections have consequences. If you think your vote doesn't count, but I don't even hear anybody saying that anymore, because if your vote didn't count, they would not be doing so many things to suppress your vote, take your vote away from you. So what we're asking, okay, is that you pay attention, okay, you listen, and if an incumbent is a person who's currently in that position, and if it's an incumbent who ran on a platform, and yet everything that they ran on, that it's not happening, and your life has not gotten any better, your life has gotten worse. Well, would you want to reelect that person and put them back in that position? And we see also how with President Biden, he's in office, and how there's so many things that he ran on that he wanted to do. And I'm hoping that student loans get forgiven. I'm hoping that he will get to have the Build Back Better done, because the BBB plan helps so many families out in terms of them being able to come out of poverty, or even just to be able to buy extra food or food that is needed, even diapers, so many things. That money was used by families, that the fact that it ended at the last December 2021, that was the last time that people got that, Calvin. And we know that that in addition to other things that the Build Back Better has in it, can make a difference in the quality of life for Americans.
Well, if you talk about that bill, diapers, it's have really gone up. We talk about food, we talk about everything, but diapers have gone up. Similac have gone up. The reason we know all this here is because we have a 2-month-old grandchild, and we know the price of these items, and they have just gone skyrocket. They're just shooting to the moon. So we do need to get these truckers, back delivering, so that hopefully these prices go down a little bit.
Yes, well, that's one of the things. And even though the manufacturers or the companies or the corporations that produce a lot of these products, they're not interested in your pocket. What they're interested in is their pocket, and they have made tremendous profits over since this pandemic has gone in place. And this is again how the money stays at the top, and we down here, the middle class, if you want to call it middle class, we are carrying the load for this country, and we're not getting, and we have not seen any breaks. So we're asking that you use the 5 caller apps. We're asking that you continue to call. We're here in North Carolina. Our state Senate and our state House of Representatives are controlled by Republicans, and we know that they feel, I mean, like they think they're hurting certain people, but they're hurting a lot of people when they choose to make decisions that can only benefit them, the top. We need to know who is funneling and funding these legislators. So when we talk about the insurrection and the 7 people from North Carolina who did not vote to certify the election, we need to now know, because a lot of them are going to be running for and seeking re-election. We need to know what have they done for us lately, so that if the Build Back Better that passed the House, and we have representatives that are there and they did not vote to number one, for the Build Back Better, they did not vote to certify the elections for President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. Well, then, who are they working for? So, and we need to know if they could be so strong and so bold to not not vote in favor of the people who put them in office. But then we need to know who is keeping them there. What companies are they supporting that have a special interest with them?
Well, what I don't understand, and maybe someone can give us a call at 252-756-2008 and explain it to me. How you have the Congress people, you have the senators that was on the same ballot as the president, and yet they say that that vote for the president was invalid. So how is their vote? How did their election become valid if they saying that the President Biden election was invalid? So that's what I don't understand. So maybe someone can give us a call and explain that to me, because if they're saying that the ballot was wrong for one person, then it should have been wrong for everyone that was on the ballot.
And you're right about that. So again, we are encouraging everyone who's at the sound of our voice, Awesome Radio 106.9 FM WBIS. We're asking that you pay attention, okay? And then we're asking, well, between now and next week, perhaps there's a person that you know is not vaccinated, and you can educate them to say, well, listen, why are you not and then vaccinated, and they can give you their reason, and then maybe perhaps you can educate them on the safety of the vaccine. The other thing is that perhaps you have a member in your household or your neighbor, and you know that they're not registered to vote. Perhaps you can encourage them to get registered, take them to register, and let them understand any questions why they are not registered, and they could be because they are a valid voter. Perhaps you can explain to them the importance and however important it is to vote. So, and then we're going to ask maybe between now and next week, because we see the power of the Board of Education, that they can just go and vote that no mask. So maybe these are meetings that we should be attending. Maybe we should be attending our PTA meetings where our students and our children are attending school. And we're just asking that you pay attention to these things, because as though we don't think they make a difference in our lives, they make a very big difference. And then we're going to ask maybe perhaps between now and next week to volunteer, maybe at a food pantry or a soup kitchen. Maybe you can just do something to contribute or to feel that you're making a difference in the world. And then donate. What does it mean to donate? Well, maybe there's a charity that you like to donate to. Perhaps maybe there's a candidate that you really support their platform, and you can donate not only money, but you can donate time, do canvassing, do phone banking. There's so many ways that you can be of service. And once you come out of yourself and you start being a service to other people, you feel so much rewards in doing that. Any comment, Calvin?
Well, service is a great thing to do, because a lot of times we do a lot of service. That's number one. The Boston Hills do a lot of service because we want to support the community that we live in. And the other thing is, I just want to bring up the 45 for a second. 45, when he left office, when he left the White House, he took a lot of cartons of material that really should have stayed there. And now, so far, there's been like 15 boxes that we know about. I'm sure there's more, but you don't always hear the whole story. But there's been 15 boxes that the committee 16 have retrieved. So now, what's going to happen with him taking those boxes home? And then that's what happened. He took them home, and they shouldn't have gone to his home. They should have stayed there, because there's certain material, certain stuff that the White House, it goes into a special place, and that is what we're talking about. See right here. And I'm saying, Trump, we need to see what you're doing, because we want to know what is going on.
Okay. And the reason why that we're concerned about that is that a lot of that is classified information. And we already know that when Trump was in office, he wanted to have this great relationship with Putin and with Russia, Korea. He really wanted to all these places that have basic dictatorship, and he wanted to really learn from them to see how he could become a dictator. And one thing that we mustn't stress also, Calvin, is that our democracy is at stake here. Because if I go in and vote for a person then and that person has the popular vote, well, then he should be the person who's holding the position. So it's important, okay? And listeners, I'm just saying, listen with that third ear and watch with that third eye to see all the underlining things that are happening. We're here, News and Politics today with Renee and Calvin Boston Hill every Monday at Awesome Radio, 106.9 FM. And again, thank you so much for listening.
Yes, stay tuned. We'll be right back here next Monday.
All righty.
We are about to leave you all for this week, and we have people from all over. I see someone from St. Croix listening to us, right here, and someone from New York.
And happy birthday, Denise, my sister. I won't say her age because she'll beat me up, but she's a Valentine birthday baby. So happy birthday, Denise.